Hello and welcome to another day of the Global Littlewargame League 2024. Today it's going to be the grand finals of the Alpha League, but before we get into that, just a recap. Once again, here is the map pool. It's the ranked map pool with the addition of Thieves' Isle, and it can potentially be the first time we're going to see every single map because it is going to be a best of 7 in the Alpha League finals. We have WeirdRat. WeirdRat playing extremely well, obviously, as most people did predict, perhaps. Hasn't dropped a single map so far to defeat Madurk and Hydra in a sweep fashion to get to the finals, and his opponent is going to be Avocadolord, who took down some notable names as well, getting out of the group in I believe first place in his group, and then taking down Bisherm, also taking down Matthew and some very strong opponents, and is going to do his best against WeirdRat here today. The head-to-head, I don't know, but here are some of the stats that you can take a look. Of course, these are a little bit outdated because I did them a long time ago, but that's okay. And let's hop straight into it with the first map, going to be on Xenos. And spawning in the bottom left-hand side of the map, the peculiar rodent, it's WeirdRat. And spawning in the top right-hand side of the map, it's the lord of this particular tropical fruit. It's Avocadolord. Is it tropical? I actually not sure if it's actually tropical or not, but alright, this is going to be a really entertaining match, hopefully. And I'm really curious to see how this goes. We do have, so far, nothing too crazy. No really early workers or anything like that. We do have a worker starting to go down for Avocadolord. Is going to look to throw down a house, it seems like, on the low ground. Whereas we're just going to build one in his main base. And Xenos is a map that we have seen quite often in the tournament, so I'm not going to go over too many details of this map. We'll just head straight into it. So let's talk a little bit about what these two players need to do. I feel like WeirdRat is obviously the favorite, right? You're not going to do anything too crazy to get him in a position where he's uncomfortable or anything like that. This is also really peculiar. WeirdRat going to go for his buildings in the main base instead of on the low ground. Perhaps he's a little bit afraid of some sort of, I don't know, tower rush or something, but I don't know. We'll have to see. But yeah, so WeirdRat, someone who is unlikely to be really super surprised by anything. You kind of have to outplay him in a way, or you gotta really do something. Okay, there we go. It's a 2 racks. But you kind of have to force him into uncomfortable territories, either weird situations, which is something that people can do, or you just gotta straight up outplay him, which is not easy to do either. Avocadolord, I feel like he is, once again, I mentioned this previously when he was playing against Matthew N, but he's someone who generally likes to play very standard, tries to play a very solid style of play, so he's probably going to be looking to play the defender in most of these situations, but I don't know if that's going to work out against WeirdRat. We'll have to find out, and it's going to be this 2 racks opening. Looks like it's going to be 2 racks Raider, and this is a very strong build. So there are 2 variations, or I would say 2 main variations with this build. So one, you can continue to build houses and just do continual Raider production and all of that. But there's a different way, which is, you know, it's a pretty strong build nonetheless, because you still get those 5 Raiders, and then you stop after 5 Raiders, take a base. You don't have to spend money taking a house, but your pressure is still very, very scary. So it can force your opponent to over-defend or something like that, so that's something to be aware of. We have these Raiders kind of high-five in the middle of the map, give each other a slap on the back, or in the front, I guess. And we'll see how this goes. Avocadolord throwing down that castle, as he normally would. And WeirdRat playing very passive, so this is a bit of a bait, I guess. By playing a little bit passive, you kind of want your opponent to overextend, and then maybe you get a 2 versus 1 and take it from there. Yeah, and WeirdRat not building a second house just yet. Looks like he's going to go for that 5 Raiders and then into an expand. And this is a very delicate build. It's very sharp, but also there's a lot of pros to it, but there's also a lot of cons to it. If you do mess up your Raider micro, you are going to be behind, because this isn't going to be as aggressive as a just a standard 2 racks where you just continue to go forward. There's a flash going forward, does get the shot. Ooh, that second flash did go. Okay, that was a little bit of a mistake out of WeirdRat, and avocadolord is gonna be aware of this. Oh, that's a mistake for. Oh no, I think if he had just run across the map, go back home, he would have been totally fine, more or less. But instead, does miss micro his raiders and is gonna lose one. But yeah, that initial flash bar of WeirdRat wasn't the best. The first one was good where he flashed behind, but the second flash was a little bit I want to say a little bit too early. He only attacked with 2 of the 3 raiders, I think, and avocadolord is not throwing down a tower or anything like that. I'm not quite sure why. Perhaps he doesn't know that it's a 2 racks? No, okay. He's gonna throw down a racks instead. So I'm not a huge fan of this. I think you generally want to go for a tower just to be extra safe. But perhaps avocadolord is saying I can actually just out micro you perhaps with the worker support. And we'll see how that goes. Avocado not doing the mineral walking through, not just quite yet. It's going to be a little bit difficult for avocadolord. Here's a flash forward. That's very aggressive. Is going to be able to take almost a raider down, but not quite just yet. These raiders are very, very low for avocadolord. There's a flash forward by WeirdRat. Does get a raider. It does get a second raider, I believe, as well. And this raider, yeah, I think this is kind of over, honestly. This is going to snowball out of control. Once you start losing the raiders, you're just never going to catch up onto the raider side of things. This raider might even just get flashed off. He does pick off one at the top. Good flash away out of avocadolord. Does lose a worker, but still keeps the raider alive. It's 2 versus 4. More workers are being pulled. Double archer on the way for WeirdRat just as a transition. This Rax is not completing just yet, so this is why I was thinking maybe it's probably better just go for a tower. And I think this is going to be more or less game over. But once again, I do want to note that this is just the 5 raiders, so there are no additional raider reinforcements coming, which means that avocadolord might have a chance of defending. Does lose another raider there. That was obviously not ideal. Does flash forward to get a hit, but doesn't quite escape with its life. Yeah, there's a nice flash forward out of WeirdRat, and all things considered, avocadolord does hold. Was it easy? Not really. Let's take a look at how many workers have gone down. 4 workers and 5 raiders versus just the 4 of WeirdRat. So as you can see, some very nice micro out of WeirdRat. He's going to get yet another worker at the end of that. A good flash forward out of avocadolord, but does not respond in time to get to the surround on that raider. So with these 2 archers coming in, I think this might just be a little bit too much for avocadolord. He's going to probably need to start some sort of building, maybe a production building or anything like that. He does see the archers and starts to back off. Yeah, he's going to restart that second Rax, cancels it, goes for a den. Okay, so yeah, he's going to go for some dens to try to deal with these archers. He's going to try to pull the workers and hopefully hold. WeirdRat is just continuing to rally these archers across the map, and that's very risky because actually it's not that risky, but I would say it's kind of risky in the sense that if your opponent is able to get the jump on some of them, if he starts to mount a very nice hold, then it's really hard for these archers if they're not all together and grouped. But look, so far it's looking really, really nice for WeirdRat here. This den is not going to be able to finish in time to deal with this push. It's going to be really tough. And as the archers start to stack up, as he gets this archers number 5 and 6 here, I think that's just going to be it. More workers being pulled from the main into this fight. Does need to try to save all these workers, especially the low HP ones, not able to do so. These workers are coming in, but the raiders aren't with it, so that means that WeirdRat can just kite for days. A little bit of a miss. Okay, there we go. Nice starting fire there out of WeirdRat. Does get that 1 worker. These raiders are coming in, but they're a little bit too late. They should have been a little bit more coordinated with the workers, but instead it's just the workers first and then raiders after, and that's not a great sign here for avocadolord. He's going to try to throw down some more wolves, or produce some more wolves and archers to hold onto this, but this is a pretty scary push. And this is also not just like an end of the world, oh, I need to do damage here for WeirdRat. He still has his natural base going. He's up to 18 workers, which is almost equivalent with his, actually ahead of his opponent. So as you can see, he's in a very nice position in that regards. Try a good pullback attempt out of avocadolord. I feel like he's been very, very non-committal. He's like, oh, I'm gonna try to surround you, and then actually never mind, I'm taking too much damage, that sort of thing. I feel like he needs to go for it one time and just absolutely wreck him, or he just needs to buy as much time as possible. He's doing this thing again. He's pulling back again. He's saying, okay, no, I can't deal with this. So I feel like Avocadolord needs to commit. He needs to say, okay, I need to defend right now, or he needs to say, okay, I need to wait a little bit more. I need a little to buy a little bit more time. But yeah, as these archers are getting pulled up more and more for WeirdRat, he's also taking a third base at the same time, by the way. As these get pulled up more and more, it's going to be harder and harder for Avocadolord to engage. He's going to try to pull all the boys here, and I don't think that's going to be enough. Yeah, he's going to even... Oh yeah, that's just a right click for on the mine here, but WeirdRat is going to kite this back all the way home. And yeah, I feel like Avocadolord just didn't pull the trigger when he needed to, and then he was kind of like toying with the idea of doing it, but by now there's just a little bit too much. There's too much micro potential with these archers, and GG is going to be called. WeirdRat is going to take game one with a very nice executed cheese. Avocadolord was looking pretty good in the sense that he was almost defending, but unfortunately not able to do so, and that does mean WeirdRat is going to go up 1-0. Let's head into game number 2. Dun, 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 dun. Game number 2 is going to be on Cursed Temple. Spawning in the bottom left-hand side with a nice little cheeky 2 racks raider. It's WeirdRat. And spawning in the bottom right-hand side of the map, it's going to be Avocadolord. I feel like if just a few things went a little bit better for Avocadolord, let's say maybe he didn't lose that first raider because of that miss micro, because it got destroyed. Because it wasn't moving all the way back. It got caught in the middle of the map, and then let's say maybe he puts down a tower immediately, or he continues to build that second racks instead of canceling it. Maybe he would have had a much better chance. Maybe he would have held this. I don't know. We'll have to find out. We have WeirdRat going for a 7 house. This is very aggressive. What are we going to get for a building? This building is a little bit delayed for the house, though. Approximately what? He was floating 30-ish when he threw that down. It's a little bit of a mistake for sure. But yeah, this is going to be a very early racks for WeirdRat. Let's see what Avocadolord is going to go for. Perhaps a racks of his own? And yes, indeed, that's exactly what it is. So generally, I would say the early racks doesn't match quite as well against just a racks opening. It does pretty well against like an archer opening, I guess, or it does pretty well against a beast opening or a mech opening. But in the racks versus racks, or more specifically the raider versus raider matchup, there isn't actually too much benefit to be gained to getting this raider. Let's say, I don't know, 20 seconds, not 20 seconds. Yeah, this is actually closer to 25 seconds. 25 seconds faster than your opponent, right? Because all your opponent can't... I guess you're denying the scouting, but your opponent can just, play a little bit closer to his side of the map and still be in an equal number of raiders, right? So that's just something to note. He's going to get this raider, I'd say, yeah, maybe 20, 25 seconds faster than Avocadolord, but that is, of course, in lieu of the economy, and we'll see how this goes. How much damage can this raider do? We'll have to find out. And is it going to be worth the worker cut? That's also something we'll have to find out. All right, so this raider is going to go across the map. We'll have, looks like another raider opening. I guess maybe it makes sense to do it on this map, just because it's a much smaller map. Ooh, a little early attack out of Avocadolord. He's going to be having the advantage, but didn't actually quite use it very well. So if you get that early hit on your opponent's raider, generally, it's a very good idea just to say, okay, I'm just going to A-move. Because what happens is that you just basically don't lose that first hit battle unless he flashes on top of you. So you A-move until the flash or the attack cooldown is done, and then you flash on top of his opponent. So that's generally what happens. And as you can see, this castle is going to be slightly ahead for Avocadolord because of that early economic advantage. Avocadolord going to go for 2 raiders and then an archer. Okay, we'll see how this goes. That is less than 50. You need, oh no. Avocadolord, no. So that's something that you definitely, that's definitely unfortunate. That's something you definitely need to be aware of if you are doing this raider battle. So 51 damage per shot. And if you take a look at your raiders before you engage, you want to check to see that they are above 51 HP. And in that particular case, it was below, and therefore he just lost that fight. But yeah, with this archer, he should be able to just solidify his position. And as you can see, avocadolord's his base is a little bit quicker. He's going to go into that wolves den as he normally does, whereas WeirdRat is going to go for a workshop. So this workshop is pretty good on this map, I would say, just because of the rush distance being very, very small, and a lot of mech pushes are pretty good on this map. So I would imagine that WeirdRat is going to attempt to do something like that. Do a good flash in with that raider, is going to scout that wolves den, so he knows what's going on. No fortress, nothing too crazy. It's just going to be a wolves den, so transitioning into beast, and is going to be able to flash away with all that information gleaned. I think if I was avocadolord, maybe I would try to pull this raider over here, try to race him and try to pick off that retreating raider, but instead he's just going to chill over here. I was going to say he's going to check third base, but there we go. And potentially he should probably just go into the main and see what's up. Avocadolord is just content to build up archers, so that's a very nice situation. He's going to have much more archers than his opponent. That's something to note. Avocadolord is kind of testing the waters, probing a little bit. Does want to try to get that information, that scouting information. He's going to go for a mill, is WeirdRat. And with the second worker, it might even be 2 mills. Now, this is very interesting. This is something that WeirdRat has experimented with. I think it can be pretty good, but not if it's scouted. And avocadolord does have the tools to do so. Unfortunately, he did lose control of that high ground, so he's just not going to have an easy time getting up into that main base and scout it. So we'll see if he's able to scout this double mill. And I'd say maybe that's a pretty good idea for him just to sacrifice it in. There's the double flash, but that does mean that WeirdRat can flash again. Okay, so that's a very unfortunate for avocadolord. He did not get the scouting information that he needed, and this is going to go unscouted. I guess maybe you can say, okay, that's not enough units for it to be something continual production out of racks. That's not a third base on the way. You must be doing something, but he doesn't know exactly what's up. He's going to go for an archer wolf push, and we'll see how much damage this is able to do. This is before any of these additional units are out. I guess there is a catapult on the way, so not quite the true, but this catapult is going to be very, very nice against this. It's going to be able to anchor this push or hold down this the fort against this push very, very well. We have avocadolord attempting to take a third base, but that raider is going to deny that very, very easily. Yep, there we go. And yeah, we'll see how this push goes. This push has to do 2 things. Number 1, it needs to do damage, or, you know, it has to force a response out of your opponent, because I think that's generally what he's going to go for. Number 2, he needs to go into that main base and scout. WeirdRat obviously does not want to take damage, and he also doesn't want to allow that scout. And with this catapult coming, that's going to be easier said than, or it's going to be easy for him to defend. And it's going to be easier said than done than avocadolord. There we go. Words. So yeah, we'll see how this goes. He is going to throw down advanced workshop after seeing that catapult. So I think he thinks that it's some sort of cata drop, which is a, you know, a valid conclusion to make. It does need to try to actually get his third base. He's sending a worker right now, but yeah, he needs to wait for those the wolves to clear out the raider first. WeirdRat also is not going across the map directly. He's pulling up these gyros. That's a little bit interesting to me, because I feel like maybe he could have gone across the map right now. I guess he doesn't want to show that the jig is up. But yeah, we'll find out. This raider has been chased away, and the third base is on the way. But yeah, we'll see how this goes. Maybe he's going to wait for 5, because 5 gyros do 2-shot workers. And that's probably what he's going to do. But he could be just not 2-shotting, but, you know, still dealing with the workers right now. Is not going to do so. Which means, yeah, looks like avocadolord is going to be completely blindsided by this. At the same time, he's going to do a little bit of distraction on the top side, and hopefully do a little bit of, you know, taking his opponent's attention away. Here comes the 4 gyros. He didn't wait for 5, so it's going to go 2 per base. Okay, that's very interesting. I'm not exactly sure what the idea is behind that. Why did he wait for so long if he was going to do something like this? I'm not quite sure. But I guess they 5-shot now if you have 2 raider or 2 archers. Not 2 archers, oh my goodness. 2 gyros. There's a watchtower that's going to be constructed in each base, but nothing doing. There's no anti-air just for now. The archers are forced to go all the way back, but that's still a long ways away. The ballista isn't quite done. It's only not even halfway done just yet, and this is a ton of damage. Avocadolord being completely blindsided. He didn't get the scout with the raider that he needed to, and it's not looking very good here for Avocadolord. And even if he deals with this, even if he gets the towers up, even if he gets the ballista, he's not going to have anything to really deal with this 2-base push that is going to follow up. So yeah, this is not very good for Avocadolord. Also, this watchtower isn't very well placed. It's not going to be able to handle the gold mine here. These gyros are going to transition and go into the 3rd base and pick off a worker there. Not too many workers. Oh, this might be a free pickoff. Avocadolord says thank you very much for that gyro. And he does, I guess, quote-unquote hold. But let's take a look at how many workers have gone down. 12 workers. That's a lot more than I expected. But he's still ahead because of this. This is a very dedicated sort of build here for WeirdRat. He's not like taking a 3rd base at the same time. We're still at an even number of workers. So this build had to do damage. It did do damage. I don't know if this is going to be enough. I guess the idea is, hey, even if you do have a 3rd base, I'm still going to be able to do have that map control, have the threat of these gyros, which allows me to take a 3rd base of my own and be totally fine. Yeah, perhaps that's it. We have this gyro. I love this gyro, by the way. It's just coming in, just getting the double confirmation scout. I think that's very, very important, and that's something that you absolutely need to do if you are WeirdRat. You don't want to get blindsided. You don't want to get surprised just because you were even though you had the tools, you were just kind of flying around and doing damage in one particular location. He's going to pull all these gyros back to repair, and he's also going to be looking to take a 3rd base. A 4th base. It looks like. I think that's a great idea. You know your opponent is pinned on their side of the map, and therefore just going for a quick 4th base is not a bad idea at all. Yeah, we'll see how this goes. We have a little bit of a wolf run by at the 3rd base, and isn't quite going to be activated just yet. Now it is, and indeed it's going to see that 3rd base timing. I'd imagine that the gyros come to, defend. There we go. So yeah, okay, we're going to go into a bit of a mid-game. Who got the better end of that? I'd say probably WeirdRat, even though like this sort of build could have been a lot more difficult for WeirdRat had Avocadolord been able to get that scout. So yeah, I do think WeirdRat did get the better end of this overall. We have this airship ballista coming in to try to deal with it, and these gyros are saying, you know, I'm just gonna go and come back another day. So it's going to be, yeah, just beast play out of Avocadolord. I don't like this particular animal testing lab position. I feel like he could have placed it in a more secure locations, perhaps in his main, because this does, you know, it can be picked off potentially from like catapult drops or something. Obviously, it's going to take a while, but this is a more vulnerable location compared to perhaps in the main. Yeah, we have that 4th base on the way for WeirdRat. So far, Avocadolord is not aware of that. But we'll see if he's able to grab a look right now. He's going to come in, is going to see, yep, he's going to see that 4th base. He's going to try to take it down. And here comes the gyros. And these gyros really give that map control that I was talking about. This is something, I guess this is the reason why WeirdRat really enjoys going for these gyros. Number one, they give you that map control in the early game. And it prevents stuff like run-bys. It prevents a whole bunch of stuff like catapult drops potentially, and this is a pretty scary army. Perhaps WeirdRat is going to take this opportunity saying, hey, you lost a whole bunch of wolves, maybe I can push across the map. Okay, maybe not. Avocadolord is going to take a 4th base, try to play a little bit of catch up in that regard. These gyros are going across the top side of the map. Okay, and probably going to look to come into this base. Avocadolord throwing down a few more dens. And we'll see how this goes from here. He is going to be ahead in upgrades. That is one thing that he has going for him. His animal testing lab is approximately, I'd say, 66% done. And WeirdRat just building his forge at the moment. And this is potentially going to be a nice round if Avocadolord sets this up very well. The gyros are out of position. They're on the other side of the map, which means that there's no real, I guess, this army is a lot smaller than it could be. These gyros, I haven't actually decided to come back, but now, ooh, this is going to be potentially huge. If Avocadolord loses that, it's going to be absolutely huge. He has 2 ballista. Oh no, that's it. That is disaster. That is disastrous. You cannot be losing that. That is unfortunate. At the same time, he's going to try to do a Hail Mary attack into this third base. Oops, GG is called. And that does mean that WeirdRat is going to take game number 2 as well. And it really came down. I'd say the biggest issue that Avocadolord had was he just lost that that drop, or the ballista airship. You can't do that. You absolutely cannot do that. And that does mean he's going to lose this game. Let's head into game number 3. Game number 3 is going to be on Ravaged. Up 2 games to none. In the top left-hand side, it's going to be WeirdRat. And down 0-2, looking to stage a bit of a comeback here, it's Avocadolord. Yeah, we'll see how this one goes. I'm not quite sure if Avocadolord is feeling good with how his games have gone so far, like build order-wise. Perhaps he might take this opportunity to mix things up a little bit. We'll have to find out. And we'll see if WeirdRat is going to continue this trend of being the aggressor, or if we're going to see maybe WeirdRat say, okay, you know what, I've thrown a couple of curveballs at you. Perhaps let's just try something very, very standard. It's because this is a standard map, of course, Ravaged being the most standard map out there. Everyone plays it. But yeah, if I was WeirdRat, maybe this would be the map to just play straight up. Just to play standard. No fancy, you know, tricky 2 racks. No, nothing like the 2 mil that he went for. He's going to go for a workshop opening. Very, very interesting here. But yeah, I was thinking, because maybe your opponent is going to be aware, okay, WeirdRat isn't just going to play just standard. He's going to try to do some cheeky stuff. So I'm going to be extra diligent in this game in scouting. And instead, that's when you're just like, okay, I'll just play standard this game and beat you there as well. So that's kind of the mindset that I believe, or if it was me, that would be the mindset that I would take. But we have a workshop opening out of WeirdRat, and I would say most players do, if they do go for workshop builds, they do go for it on Ravage just because they're much more familiar with the map and the map geometry and how to wall off and all that. Whereas on other maps, if you haven't actually taken the time to look at the map, you might not know how to do that wall where you got the Gatling gun with the 2 spaces and your castle is correctly placed and all that. So yeah, so it makes sense to me that you go for a workshop opening on this map. We're also just checking a little bit to see if there's anything crazy going on, and nothing is to be found. We have a Raider opening out of Avocadolord, not varying up his openings just yet. Perhaps maybe he's looking to do make adjustments a little bit in a different way. Perhaps in just the scouting, because I think that really did throw him off a little bit in the first 2 games. We had this Raider going across the map. So the Raider against the racks, or not the racks, the mech opening, it does have a window. So it does have a window where it really can do, it can kind of run circles around the Gatling guns, right? So you can either go for the Gatling guns and just try to kill them. It takes 4 raider shots to do that. So generally you don't actually want to go for that in with your first raider. Generally people like to instead just go for the worker kills initially, and then maybe you might find an opportunity when you have 2 raiders to go for that, to go for the snipe on the Gatling guns. We'll see how this goes. One little thing that you can do is, as the raider player, is you tap the buildings once for both of them, and the reason you do that is it is going to mess up the opponent's auto repair. So if your opponent is going to set their workers to auto repair, they're going to see these weakened buildings, the buildings that have taken a little bit of damage, and say, oh, that's something I need to repair right now. This is a very cute move out of WeirdRat. He's going to try to trap this raider in, and that just might do it. Excellent positioning. That was great. Oh, but that might... Okay. Yes, so very, very well done here out of WeirdRat. Just gets the excellent micro, and is just going to trap that first raider. And that raider did nothing. It did absolutely nothing. It didn't get the scout on what the second building is. Sometimes there isn't. Sometimes it's a mill. Sometimes it's a advanced workshop. In this case, it's going to be a second workshop. And it didn't get any worker kills. It didn't do any damage to the Gatling guns. And so far, we have, once again, an excellent start for WeirdRat. Yeah, avocadolord cannot be happy. He's going to throw down an advanced workshop, as you generally want to do blindly against mech. If you don't get that scout, you're kind of assuming it's going to be either mill, gyros, or it's going to be advanced workshop, cattle drops. In this case, it's none of the above. It's actually going to be, ooh, that's a bit of a missed flash. Doesn't quite get the surround that he wants with these raiders either, so he's not going to be able to take down that Gatling gun. A little bit of a missed opportunity there for avocadolord. Didn't move quite forward, just quite enough before flashing that first time, and then that second time he attacked, he only attacked with one of them. So definitely unfortunate. But yeah, in this case, it's going to be a 3 workshop build. And this is a very scary build if you don't know it's coming. Generally, you know, sometimes against mech, you'd like to cut corners. You take a quick third base, you go for that advanced workshop. Also, he canceled that advanced workshop, perhaps. Did he see that second Rex? Okay, no, he did. He did catch a little glimpse of it. So he now knows that there's going to be at least 2 workshops. And that's something that he is well aware of now. And he needs to deal with it. He's going to respond with it in a particular manner. And that particular manner, in his opinion, is going to be, looks like Raiders and Wolves. And I think that is going to be a very nice combination. If you get the surround, you know, you flash to the back with the Raiders, and the Wolves come in from the other side. You can get some nice surrounds on these Gats and take it down pretty easily. WeirdRat needs to build a house, by the way. He's going to be supply blocked here. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I feel like avocadolord just losing that first raider does it kind of snowballs there in that way, in a manner as well, because if he had those, like an extra raider, he would have maybe had the opportunity to do a little bit more harassment. Maybe he says, okay, I can potentially do a little bit more, be a bit more aggressive, try to pick off a Gatling gun here or there. One thing I do want to note is that WeirdRat isn't actually hiding his additional Gatling guns. He's not saying, oh, you know, maybe I'm doing something else. I guess he kind of acknowledges that he has been found out. But we have that push out coming. We have 3 workers for the repair. We have 6 Gatling guns so far. And this is a very nice push. It's not going to be very, very easy. I feel like he could have definitely gone for that. I'm not quite sure why he flashed away there. That's just going to be repaired up, and he's going to be good as new. Whereas these Raiders are going to take a lot more longer time to actually regen all that health. We have a big supply block too. Oh no, that's not good. Avocadolord is supply blocked. That means he's not going to be able to produce anything just yet, and this is a very scary army. What you want to do is you want to either just absolutely burst everything down, or you want to target down these workers. See the base around coming in from both sides. So this side is a little bit late. Okay, this is going to be very, very difficult. Good kiting back out of WeirdRat. Is going to lose that Gatling gun there at the front though. Good flash forward out of avocadolord is going to get this around. I think it looks like avocadolord is going to hold this. Maybe he wants to target that down. Yep, there we go. And yeah, it looks like it is going to be a hold. And I think, you know what? If you're avocadolord, you're feeling pretty good with this. This was a scary push. It might not feel like it might not look like it, but it definitely was very scary, and he held that pretty well. It could have been a lot better, honestly, but it could have been a lot worse as well. And avocadolord is going to be in a nice position. He has a third base. He has he knew that it wasn't a any sort of air thing, so he didn't actually go for this advanced workshop until now. But the thing is, WeirdRat is saying, you know what? You held that pretty well, but what if I just continue to hold on to that gas pedal? Or not hold on to it, step on that gas pedal. What if I just continue to rally more and more and more Gatling guns across the map? Do you have what it takes to hold the second push? And looks like so far not going to be the case here. He just need to try to keep that alive. He did hold, but he lost all his units while doing so, which means that this is going to be a very, very difficult hold to do that secondary hold. Also, these workers for WeirdRat have been able to stay alive. Yeah, so they're just going to add so much repair, so much longevity to this army. And this castle, not this castle, this tower isn't quite done just yet as well. He's going to try to target it down, and I think it might just be enough. It is going to complete, but only just, and it's just going to get taken down right after. And that does mean avocadolord doesn't have anything. He really doesn't. He only has 2 production structures, raiders and wolves being continuing to be produced, as well as this advanced workshop. He's going to throw down another den right now. He's going to go for some, looks like airships, but that's not going to do too much. We're at no third base in sight. He's just going to say, more Gatling guns, more Gatling guns, more Gatling guns. I wouldn't mind just throwing down an advanced workshop just for the caltrops. You know, caltrops add so much disruption to your opponent if they're going for this sort of defense, if they're going for the wolves, if they're going for the raiders, because they need to get into melee range. If it's like something like archers, then you don't really need it. But if they're defending with this, caltrops will absolutely decimate this army. But he's not going for it just yet. He's just saying more and more and more and more. More and more of these Gatling guns, and it's looking very, very dire for avocadolord here. It's going to try to do a worker drop to go get a nicer round. I think that's a great idea. I don't know if it's going to be enough, though. Maybe he's just... Okay, he's just going to go across the map. We're taking a third base, taking an advanced workshop at the same time. This is very cute. I like this. It's not going to do too much, though. Yeah, we're gonna have a 10 worker harassment hit squad. Yeah, that's not gonna do anything. There's this stuff going on. I want to see what these 10 workers do. I don't care about this. I want to see these workers. You can kind of see what the avocadolord is thinking here. He's saying, okay, that's kind of it. Did try to, he did save all these workers, which is very nice, but very smart. WeirdRat gonna throw a single Gatling gun over there to try to see it. Almost gets this round, does not quite though. He is gonna try to hold this high ground, but this is a very nice choke position. And he has his units on hold position, which means not looking good here. The workers are being outnumbered in the worker versus worker fight. I wonder how many workers he killed. At least 1 from that earlier side. But yeah, I think that's going to be it. G is called. And there's that second G. And yeah, avocadolord, not his day it seems like. WeirdRat too strong is going to go down 0-3. Can he stage a comeback? I don't know. We'll have to find out. Let's head into game number 4. Game number 4 is going to be on Thieves' Isle. And, ooh, these players have switched spots. Dun, 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 dun. There we go. Spawning into the top left-hand side. He's down 0-3. He needs your energy. That's a rhyme. Okay, it's going to be avocadolord. And spawning in the bottom right-hand side of the map. With some dominant play and with some very, like a nice variety of builds. It's WeirdRat. And if there's a map in the map pool that avocadolord gets a win on, it's probably this. This is the perhaps the most weirdest Perhaps the most craziest, zaniest of maps. And if Avocadolord has some sort of cheese, some sort of really cool build, something that in his back pocket that he's been saving, this might just be the time. This might just be the map. A little bit of banter in the chat. I'd love to see it. And we'll see how this goes. What kind of opening are we gonna have? We have a workshop out of WeirdRat, so he's gonna go for mech play again. Avocadolord. Ooh, I like this. You gotta take risks sometime, someday. It looks like he's gonna go for a castle first. This is generally a map that you really don't think about castle first. Because, you know, you think of Thieves' Isle, you think, hey, I'm going to do something crazy. But I don't know. We'll see if something crazy is going to happen. Also, interestingly, he's going to go for a 10. That's really interesting. He's going to go for 10 workers into castle. I believe that's not ideal. I'm not really sure. This will be Stayu against the tag clan. I love the banter. But yeah, generally, my preferred build is like 11 castle, 11 den, 12 den. But it looks like Avocadolord is just go for a 10 castle. I haven't actually tested this, so I don't know if this is actually good or not. But we'll have to find out. So it's gonna be, looks like 10, 11, maybe 12. I don't know. We'll have to find out. WeirdRat is going to go for a 1-base mill, so isn't going to throw down a castle like you would normally do. Is just going to go for that mill immediately and try to do a little bit of damage from there. And I think that just might work out. We'll have to find out. Avocadolord not going to throw down. It hasn't pulled a second worker for that second den. It's going to pull one now, it looks like. Okay, he's just going to put it in that main base. Okay. We'll see how this goes. So this mill, I think airplay on this map is pretty good. There's a lot of dead space where ballistas can't reach you, which is why inherently on this map a lot of people go dragons, a lot of people go gyros, a lot of people go catadrops, stuff like that, because just inherently because of the map geometry here, the main anti-air ballista isn't actually as good as on any other maps. Because of all that dead space. So I do think that is a very nice decision here out of WeirdRat to go for a little bit of an air opening. He's also floating quite a bit, so it looks like he's probably going to go for a castle after this. Yeah, Avocadolord does need to do that scouting, and we'll see if he's able to figure things out here. This is also that build, I believe this is that build he played a lot in 2v2s, where he went for just a single gat into gyros into a third, or it's not a third, a natural base. So I believe that's the sort of build that he played a lot in his 2v2s. These wolves are going to go across the map. We have a fortress on the way for Avocadolord, so this is going to be easily scouted, perhaps. Base first, says WeirdRat, and indeed he is correct. Avocadolord says, no, would never, but, you know, never say never. This wolf is going to come in. Getting this scout on this gyro is actually going to be huge. He is going to see it. And what is his reaction going to be? He's also saw this castle timing, so he knows it's not going to be some sort of crazy, you know, like one base all in sort of thing. What is no towers? No towers? Question mark. What is he going to do? What is his response? Is he just going to eat the damage? I don't think you can do that. Okay, he's going to throw down a tower here. Not at the natural just yet, though. And that means that this gyro does have free reign. Instead, going to go into the... Oh, my goodness. Did he not notice? Why is he reacting right now? I guess he didn't notice here. I think he also saw it in the middle of the map as well. So definitely not ideal here for Avocadolord. Is going to try to throw down a tower in his natural as well. These wolves going to try to do a little bit of counter damage. Going to try to target this worker down. Might be able to do so. But yeah, these wolves are on a timer because eventually these gyrocraft are going to just whittle them down. And he's going to get that one worker. And he's gonna try to just buy some time, I guess. Maybe target down another worker. No, he's just gonna say, I'm gonna go away. This gyro has 1 kill so far. Not the end of the world here, especially because you went for that first earlier castle. Does need to continue building this. One thing to note is that you can actually, if you park your units right on top of the tower in a perfect way, generally it's a lot easier to do it with bigger units such as a dragon or an airship. You can prevent your opponent from actually right-clicking the tower and sending your workers to continue to build it. So that's a nice little trick that I think WeirdRat is attempting to do, but I don't think it's possible with the gyro. It's just too small. What happened to all the wolves? They're all just, okay, they're all just being traced all the way back. And this is more or less exactly what you want to get with your gyro build. You want to A, defend. You want to B, get that scouting information. Did he see this though? Okay, he saw one of the 2 fortress or the dragon's lair. He saw the fortress as well, so he knows what's coming, and he's gonna throw down a advanced workshop as a response to go pull out some of those ballista in response. And yeah, dragons are gonna do pretty well until those ballista come out. Gonna pull out all the beast units on this one, says avocadolord. He's obviously referring to the dragons here. These gyros coming in, gonna try to do a little bit of scouting. I think, did it see it? Yes, he did. So now he knows there are two dragons lairs. He's gonna be like the count. These gyros coming in, gonna try to snipe down a worker. Good pullback there out of WeirdRat. And yeah, another free worker kill. You can just go home and repair those gyros up. And we have that first dragon on the way. We have this advanced workshop that is almost complete. So I think WeirdRat won't be in too much trouble. He's going to have some of these gyros just deal with any weak stragglers perhaps in the dead space. He can maybe walk in and try to snipe. He's also going for a double. I completely missed this, but he went for an additional workshop. I'm not quite sure if that is the best, because I feel like you don't really need those ground units as much, but that's something he did go for. We'll see if that comes into play. I don't think he's actually built anything out of it just yet. But yeah, we have that first ballista on the way, and we have also these dragons just being pulled up, so they're not actually going across the map. I think that's a great idea, because with that first dragon, if had he gone across the map, maybe he could have just died to the existing gyros. WeirdRat is sending this worker. Oh, he's going to go for a hidden base, it seems like. Perhaps at the top side, perhaps in this corner or something like that. We'll see. I do like that. I do like this because, if you don't take this base or this base as your third, your opponent kind of thinks there isn't a third base that you can potentially take. Here comes the dragons, though. They're going to try to push these gyros out of the way. A little bit slow is WeirdRat on the runaway. Also, a little bit of split fire here, so not getting the most value as he... maybe he probably still wouldn't have been able to get it, but we could have probably taken this down to red HP or something like that. Oh, okay, so WeirdRat is instead going to go for a tower, so it's going to try to do a big push into the natural base. I think that makes a lot of sense. And these dragons are forced to head home a little bit because the ballista is here to defend. So yeah, it looks like WeirdRat is saying, I'm going to do a big 2-base push and attack you in the back of your natural. WeirdRat is going to... yeah, that's his plan. This is also... scarily close to being scouted by these dragons. Not going to be able to be seen just yet. Avocadolord gearing up to take a third base. He also should know that his opponent isn't on a third base just yet. So yeah, perhaps these dragons should have gone into the main base instead. A little bit of a scouting a little bit earlier, but it's going to do that right now. It's going to be actually aggroed onto this. I don't think that's great here. Does need to stay away from this ballista, though. Yeah, there we go. We have a single watchtower that is prepared or completed. I think, really, this is actually not the worst situation for Avocadolord here. Like, yes, this is, this is a potential for something that can be really scary, but these dragons are still, holding the air. There's just only a single ballista as of right now, and that could mean that Avocadolord is able to win with just this air superiority. We'll have to see, though. Here comes this push. There's a handful of workers here as well, 5 of them, in fact, and yeah, it looks like he's going to fight without the ballista here. It's going to be a dominating win for these dragons. He's actually just going to go in and try to go for the workers. I'm not quite sure if I like that because this is a pretty scary army. I guess, yes, it's doing a lot of damage to the economy of WeirdRat, but you're not going to have these dragons here for the defense of this mech push. We have this ballista that's going to be very crucial. He needs to keep that alive, does WeirdRat, and the workers are being pulled for repair, but he's actually moving his ballista a little bit too far back. If he had just held position and gotten a surround on it, that would have been even better. So this is a very nice start here for Avocadolord. WeirdRat forced to bring all of his anti-air back, which means that there's no anti-air other than this tower at the front, and that does mean that these dragons can potentially just wreak havoc on the other side with this against this army. So this is actually looking very good. We have that third ballista coming up. That's going to be very instrumental. It does Q-fire on the wrong unit. Did a little bit of damage to his own unit here. That's not good. But this push is actually very scary, and Avocadolord does not know anything about it. His buildings aren't in range of this, which means he doesn't have an eye on the health of that. And yeah, this is going to be very, very scary. This is also a devastating choke for beast units to come in. He's going to see that right now with this, and I don't know. He's not going to be very well prepared, in my opinion. He's going to pull all his wolves back, but with these caltrops, that's going to be a lot more difficult to actually engage into this, and with these towers as well. So yeah, these wolves are not going to get anything done. Just coming in, streaming in from one side. He needs his dragons back, and yes, indeed, that's exactly what he's going to do. We have two ballista in here. These are absolutely critical to keeping the mech army alive, and so far he needs to absolutely babysit these. We have an additional workshop here. I think that's just for the surface area reduction and all that. Avocadolord deciding, hey, I can just go across the map and actually attack. I'm not quite sure if that's the best idea, but yes, I guess it makes sense because you don't want to fight into ballista. But yeah, this is going to be really, really tough here. Avocadolord setting up a bit of a surround. These dragons coming in, there's nothing at the natural, so WeirdRat is about as all-in as he can get. This is more or less essentially a one-base all-in. These wolves coming in from the backside, but there's two towers there, and these aren't going to get any damage, really. We're just going to, nibble on these catapults and do basically nothing. These dragons try to swoop into that main base, doesn't get anything, and this is a nice cut off out of WeirdRat. Some huge explosive shot coming up as well. That's a dragon going down. More dragons being battered as well. And oh, another dragon going down, and this is not looking very good at all. I think Avocadolord really could have held this. Maybe if he had, placed a building closer here, and maybe you would have seen one of these buildings a little bit earlier. Here's the dragon's going to try to snipe down some of the gyros. It's going to try to pull that dragon back. Is the target fire good enough for WeirdRat? Not quite, but it still does do a significant amount of damage. And yeah, this is still looking pretty tough for Avocadolord to defend. He did lose a handful of dragons. I think 3-ish so far. 4 actually. Yep. So he's going to be very hard-pressed to actually defend this. He's going to pull the workers into this. I don't think that's a great idea. You can honestly just ignore this and just mine from 2 bases because your opponent isn't mining from their natural base. He's not going to do that, actually. He's just going to try to break this, and that's going to be very, very difficult, especially with the towers here. The Gatling's guns are falling maybe one by one, but that's not going to be enough. Avocadolord says GG. I also apologize to Gutden Clan, but yeah, that's going to be it. And I really think that could have still been a little bit better for Avocadolord. He had the time to even go for workshops of his own, but perhaps a little bit of stubbornness, a little bit of pride in the ways of the beast. And yeah, that's going to be a 4-0 sweep for WeirdRat in the finals of the Alpha League. There we go. So WeirdRat not dropping a single map. Not a single map. In his run here in the Global Littlewargame League, and he's going to be your Alpha League champion. I hope you enjoyed, and hope you'll stick around for the Beta League finals, which will happen hopefully sometime soon. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.